Okay, look, welcome back to the Media Centre. Let me, first of all, just quickly recap the pairings for the opening session of the 2023 Ryder Cup, starting with the European pairings. Match 1 will be John Ram and Tyrrell Hatton versus Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns. In Match 2, Victor Hovland and Ludwig Ober versus Max Homa and Brian Harman. In Match 3, Shane Lowry and Sepp Straka versus Ricky Fowler and Colin Morikawa. And in Match 4, Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood versus Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley. So look, with the formalities out of the way, how are you feeling now that the first session is upon us?
Well, the speech went well, so that was good. The Italians seemed to come off quite well and appreciative by the crowd. So, I'm happy to know that Friday morning is almost upon us. It's, as I said, it's been a long build-up. 14 months for me, and we're finally here. So excited about my pairings and ready to get to see some fantastic golf.
Thank you, Luke. We'll go to questions to Phil Casey over on the right.
Hi, Luke. You've obviously selected a couple of rookies in Ludwig and Sepp. Quite a lot of faith, some might say, in a foursomes, the difficult format. Can you just tell us what you've seen this week that made you go with these, well, all four pairings, really?
Yeah, it's not just this week. It's just what I've seen over the last year, really. Well, maybe a little bit less with Ludwig, but I'm impressed with both of these players. They're very steady players. Obviously, Ludwig's driving. You know, he was, the few tournaments he played on the PGA Tour, was #1 driver in all of golf, ahead of Rory McIlroy, ahead of Scotty Scheffler in the rankings. So we know driving is important this week, and in foursomes, if you're in the short stuff, it's going to make life a lot easier. So Sepp, again, very consistent ball striker, very steady. He doesn't do a lot wrong. Again, he feels like his game is in great shape, not only this week, but leading up to these matches.
Okay, over to the far left, Luke, with Ryan, number 2.
First of all, how close to these opening pairings were you thinking last week? Was this what you had in mind? And were there any surprises from the American team in terms of what Zach's announced this afternoon?
Yeah, this was very similar. This was very close to my plan. I'm not quite sure. I mean, the last few weeks, there's been many iterations of lots of pairings and discussions and stuff. But I think, yeah, probably last week, this would have been what I had in mind. And I've seen great play from these guys and from the other 4 and the whole 12 over these last few days. Nothing that would have changed my plans, to be honest. Again, we had a pretty good plan in place. It was always going to be a plan that could change, but I didn't really need to because the guys are playing fantastic golf. The US, again, I haven't really given their pairings much thought, to be honest. Nothing really surprises me. They're 12 very strong players. We know our work is cut out. They're going to be very strong, as they always are. As I said, we're coming off a very difficult and difficult defeat 2 years ago, and you know, the US are definitely confident, and we're going to have to play some good golf. But I'm excited to see it get started.
Okay, over to the right with Andy.
Hi, Luke. Sorry to hit you with this on the eve of the tournament, but following exhaustive investigations, it's come to our attention you've got an American wife. And the phrase "sleeping with the enemy" comes to mind. So I just wonder, how tricky is it going to be this week for you? And I wonder, do you talk in your sleep?
Not tricky at all. My wife, parents were born in Greece. She has a lot of strong European roots, and my #1 fan. There's quite a few guys on our team that have US wives. It's really not a problem. They are 100% behind us.
She wants Europe to win?
Of course.
One behind. Staying on that side with Ria.
Luke, you've gone with Rahm and Hatton now first. We sort of hear quite a lot about fire and ice. You've gone with fire and fire. Could you explain the thinking a little bit about it and how that might be a response to the occasion?
Well, they're both world-class players to start. Both fantastic ball strikers. They are very passionate. I think John feeds off a playing partner with similar kind of fire and passion. You know, he wants to feel like he's out there with a teammate that's really engaged with him. And Tyrrell really fits that bill. So, yeah, the Ryder Cup means a lot to both of those. I've found that out over the last couple of weeks. You know, John was really inspired by the Ryder Cup back in '97. His first ever time he came and got into golf was because of going to the Ryder Cup at Valderrama. You know, his legacy is not just about winning majors, it's about playing in Ryder Cups and making a difference and contributing to Team European wins.
Could I just ask as well, will you be using all 12 players on the first day, do you think?
That's my plan right now, but plans can change.
Okay, we're just going to go over to the front left here, number 2.
Luke, are your 12 players your gladiators, and are they ready for the fight?
I would say they're very fearless. They're extremely good golfers. We've had a great few days together. The atmosphere in the team room is fantastic. Everyone is in good spirits. They're motivated. There's a lot of good energy. Everyone feels like they're playing well. So I'm very excited.
Staying left, Doug Ferguson.
Luke, when Zach in his opening speech had drawn the connection between the U.S. and Italy and said he hoped in some small way America could give something back to Italy, anything crossed your mind?
Yeah, a little gold trophy, perhaps. That'd be nice on Sunday evening.
Secondly, when you think about your hopes for tomorrow, for the end of tomorrow, is it satisfaction based only on a score, on numbers?
In the end, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, we're here to try and get to 14.5 as a minimum, and you know, we all know that it's a lot easier if you can get off to a good start.
Okay, over to the right here.
Looking at the bookmakers' odds, they have you as slight favourites, very close, but slight. It's flipped in the last 24 hours.
Well,
are you comfortable with that mantle? Do you think you are favourites given Europe's incredible home record going back, obviously, nearly 30 years?
Well, I have a lot of faith in my team, but at the same time, I certainly don't underestimate the US side. There's some strong players. There's a lot of players that played 2 years ago in Whistling Straits. They have some pairings that have astronomical win percentages, you know, that have had a lot of success. And they'll probably be using, I mean, obviously Xander and Patrick is one. And they're going to be a tough opponents. As I said, I'm very happy with the progress of my team. They seem to have come into a lot of form in the last few months, and they've continued that in big tournaments. And the preparation the last few days has been fantastic. They've given a lot over the last 3 days. They're very engaged, and they are ready to compete tomorrow.
And just to follow up on Riyadh's point, will John be hitting the first tee shot? And people talk about that being the hardest shot in golf, and you're very comfortable that he will be able to get us off to a really good start early.
You have to wait till 7:35 who hits the first tee shot, but one of them will be.
Okay, over to the left again, Luke.
Luke, I have a question about the pairings and practice groups. Every time at the Ryder Cup, it seems like the U.S. kind of does it standard. You see exactly what their pairs are going to be, while Europe mixes it up. And this time, you know, Rahm and Hatton only played together 1 out of the 3 days. From the sidelines, you're thinking, well, I think if you're pairing people, you'd want them to play as often as possible. What is the philosophy for you for, you know, only doing it 1 out of 3 times or mixing it up so much?
Well, that's not necessarily what's going to happen this week. We'll have to see. You know, this year we have a little bit of a new team. You know, some rookies. You know, and that means that you have to kind of find the correct combination of players. But you know, in terms of John and Tyrrell, as I said, those are fiery characters. You know, I think their personalities match up. The statistics point towards a very strong partnership, and those are the 2 things that I certainly look at when I'm looking at partnerships. So it's a mixture of, do they match up? Are they suited to that format of golf the best? And you know, how are their personalities? Do they get along well?
So it's not as important that they play every single day leading up to it?
look, if they go out and win 6 and 5 tomorrow, you're probably going to see them play again.
Okay, we're going back to the right.
Hi, Luke. Yesterday, Wyndham Clark was claiming that recent sort of lack of action for the American players will give them more energy, and that Europe could well be dying on the hill come Sunday because a lot of your players have been playing a lot more recently. Does he have a point that you could well be fatigued come the last day, or just how much energy and how pumped are you and your team?
We've talked about this for months, about this being a tiring week, a big week on a golf course that's quite hilly. The weather is perfect every day, but it's warm, and that saps your energy as well. So it's certainly things that I will be thinking about. You know, am I going to play a lot of people 5 times? Probably not. We'll have to see how the few sessions go on early, but certainly the thinking and the preparation and the planning for making sure that on Sunday, you know, hopefully you have 12 guys that are ready to go, because there is 12 points on Sunday. We know that. The first 2 sessions are important, but you still have a lot of points to play on Sunday, and you want people fresh enough. But you know, I would say, you know, my guys are sharp and ready. They've been in competition quite a lot, and sometimes that can be a big benefit as well.
Okay, so just in front here.
Hi, Luke. Congratulations on the Italian. The Duolingo definitely paid off that you and Diane were doing together. I'd just like to say, for you personally, all roads have led to this moment. This has been on your mind forever. What is going through your mind right now?
I just want to get to that first tee and watch my guys get started. It's been an amazing build-up. It's been an amazing journey. Couldn't be more excited and happy for these 12 guys to go out and enjoy this week, because I remember I had so many fond memories as playing and being a vice captain, and you know, as a captain it's a little bit more of a stressful job, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the guys just to take this all in, enjoy it, and try and write their own history this week.
Okay, and one final question over here on the left.
Hi, Luke. Obviously, you take on so many responsibilities. I'm sure you leave a lot up to your players. But after your reconnaissance here at Marco Simone, do you lead any discussions about potentially how to play certain holes? For example, 16 would be pivotal, 300-yard par 4. Any discussions whether, I mean, obviously it'll also be situational, but any discussions whether or not, you know, you want your guys going for the green, holding back? Is that something you also do as the team captain?
Certainly these are 12 guys that individually know how to best prepare and play themselves and get themselves in the right frame of mind. We try and embrace the team when we're together and enjoy times together, but when they're on the golf course, obviously, they know how to play at an individual level. But as a team captain and with Eduardo, we've given them a whole packet of stats from the last 3 Italian Opens. You know, what was necessary for success around here. It's up to them how much they take that in. Some guys will like to look at that and use it. Some guys will like to rely on their own feel and their caddies and do it themselves. So it's really up to them. I'm not trying to change that, but the information is there for them.
That being said, would you like to see some of your boys taking a shot at hitting the green there on 16?
I don't think you'll see a single player laying up on 16 this week from both teams.
Okay, on that note, thank you, Luke.